Postpartum depression, or postpartum frustration as we're going to call it here, is very challenging. But I find usually that if you problem solve, women get better. If a woman suffered from depression before she had children, then you can possibly call it a real postpartum depression. But most of the time it's just sadness or frustration. As a lactation consultant, I've worked with thousands and thousands of moms, and I see they come in and they're sad and they're frustrated and they're depressed, and then we fix the breastfeeding. I teach them that the baby is getting enough food, the baby is getting enough diapers, and all of a sudden they smile and they feel so much better. Another idea I do for women is I call some of their friends and ask them to bring food over, because by the time the woman nurses the baby and then changes the baby and then burps the baby and then tries to go to sleep and then wakes up and then the baby's hungry again, very often they're not eating enough. And if you really are dealing with someone who just had a baby and is feeling sad or frustrated, bring over some food and bring over as many fruits and vegetables as possible. I do not believe that garlic or onions is going to cause colic in any baby that I've ever seen. Lots of vegetables, lots of romaine salad. The more healthy foods the moms can eat, the more it lifts their spirits. But I would like to discuss some of my favorite herbs that I really feel help women a lot. The first one is called mother's wort. Mother's wort is an underused herb. It is just the perfect postpartum herb. Mother's wort is for sadness and gloominess. When you're sitting there with a beautiful baby, you've got a mate that loves you, things are going really well, and you're crying all the time. That's a time for mother's wort. Or you've still got that perfect baby, that perfect mate, and you're feeling sad and overwhelmed. You're gloomy, as if a big black cloud is descending on you. That's when you use mother's wort. Mother's wort, you'll feel. It's an herb within 20 minutes after taking it, you will feel it. It will lift your spirits. It will let you see things clearly. It is a non-addictive herb, and it's something you'll stop using when you don't need it. You can take 25 to 30 drops 3 to 4 times a day as needed, and when you start to feel your spirits coming back to the state that you want them to be in, you just stop it. It's an herb that works immediately. You can take it when you need it and stop when you don't. Another herb I like very much is skullcap. Skullcap is for that nervous agitation. Let's say this is your second child or your third child and you've got little toddlers running around. Or let's say you're just finishing up graduate school and there you have a baby and you've got stacks of papers on your desk. Or let's say you've got your in-laws coming over or your husband's best friends coming over and you've got that nervous feeling, you're feeling in the pit of your stomach. You are just nervous. That's the time you take skullcap. Skullcap is also an herb you're going to feel. A lot of herbs we use are herbs you need to take for long periods of time. It takes a while to get into the system, but not mother's wort or skullcap. This is for nervous agitation. If you've got to go to the pediatrician and you've got to dress yourself, slap some lipstick on, get that baby in the car seat, and you are a nervous wreck, skullcap will help you get there. And once you get there, you'll be able to think clearer and be able to ask the doctor the questions you really want to. There's another herb I like very much for postpartum women, and it's called mimosa bark. It's a really gentle herb, and it brings joy to the heart. So let's say you're not quite gloomy, you're not crying all the time, because that's where I'm going to use mother's wort. Let's say you're not nervous, that's when you use skullcap. Let's just say you're not at the level of happiness you want to be. Your birth is over and you survived it. You've got a beautiful baby. Things are going well and you're just kind of feeling maybe grumpy. Mimosa is a great idea, and it'll just bring that joy to the heart. And these things are safe while breastfeeding. You can use them as needed, and you won't need them all the time. You can one day take mother's wort, the next day take mimosa, the next day take skullcap for 3 days, and then take mother's wort. You can interchange them as needed, and you're going to stop taking them when you feel better. So that's how you can use herbs postpartum.